And we're live. Welcome to the Lakers Late Night Podcast. I am Anthony Irwin. We just suffered through another Lakers loss, but hey, we get the bright the bright side of this is we might have a slightly better chance at a coin flip for another. Please stop bringing that up, people. The Lakers shouldn't tank. It doesn't make any sense. Anywho, I'm joined tonight by Chris Barnewall of all over the place. You're at the Hive. Hardwood Paroxysm, B-Ball Breakdown, Friendly Bounce, you're highly interested in space stuff. So thanks very much for joining us. How you doing?
Space is dope. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I had to watch the Lakers. I actually left mid-game. I left mid-game to, the NBC, they wanted me to talk about popcorn, and I welcomed that conversation in a flash. Also
during the game?
During the game, it was great.
What kind of popcorn? Was it butter popcorn?
Oh man,
salted popcorn.
I prefer kettle corn. I love kettle corn.
I don't dislike kettle corn. I don't dislike kettle corn, but just whenever I want popcorn, I want actual popcorn. And one time I went to Publix, which is like a local grocery store chain here, and they had buy one get one popcorn. So I bought buy one get one popcorn. Got home, discovered I bought kettle corn, and I was just like, ugh.
Oh, no.
It's like, I don't dislike this, but I am unhappy with my decision right now.
Yeah, my mom ruined regular popcorn for me as a kid because she would always buy like the lean choice healthy kind. So
they make that?
Like just warm cardboard.
Ugh, that's gross. What they just didn't put any season on it at all, or
I don't know what was wrong with that. I don't think it was actual corn. It was styrofoam.
Pieces of paper. That tortured soul you heard right there talking about his childhood was Harrison Fake and Harrison Beyond. Beyond sending you back to those dark days. How are you doing tonight?
I gotta say I was better than I was now after watching the Lakers. So, yeah, congratulations. You were worse than the Lakers.
Achievement unlocked. Man, worse than the Lakers.
I feel
we
like
are the Sixers.
I feel like this game was like that completely sums up how that game went. Whoever won was just simply worse at losing than the other team. And tonight it was the Hornets, who tried like all hell to lose down the stretch, but thank God Kobe was out there just shooting everything. Chris, tell us about the emotional roller coaster that you went on as Kobe had that heartwarming homecoming that he went through.
It was so funny, because tweet of the night goes to Tucker Warner, who was running at the Hive account tonight. Who, when Kobe came into that very, very loud Kobe chant, he tweets out, "In fairness to the Charlotte fans chanting Kobe, Kobe as he enters the game, no other player could help the Hornets nearly as much." And then Kobe went out there.
Oh man.
Kobe went out there and just shot the living daylights out of the ball.
Yeah, the picture that's sending its way around, I'm terrible at Photoshop, but I put together a little Kobe, or Byron was holding a playbook, and I just scratched out whatever play was going on there and just said Kobe go, or something like that. And yeah,
wait, that wasn't the play?
Yeah, that we know of. That might be an actual thing.
I think that's the 80% of the playbook that Russell doesn't know.
I kind of want to know, Chris, you have more experience around this Charlotte franchise and the goings on around Michael Jordan. Was he just on a heater? Like he just couldn't leave the table to say goodbye in person to Kobe?
I had no idea he wasn't even there, honestly. When I found out he wasn't there, I was like, so is this just like Michael Jordan doing that classic subtle F-U-ness that he lives, where it's like, I know I'm pretending to be nice right now, but in reality, I can't stand you. Or if he's actually off doing something, important.
Win 6 rings and I'll come say goodbye. That's when I'm honestly surprised the tribute video wasn't. I was kind of surprised that wasn't just the tribute video right there.
Just the number 6.
Yeah. Just him dropping rings onto the table.
And one extra drop that you don't have. It's such a weird dynamic because, I don't know, Harrison, have you heard some of the stories that were surrounding, Kobe and the draft that was going on back then, that he iced out Charlotte back in the day? The narrative has shifted to where it was, oh, yeah, it just so happened I got traded to the Lakers. But there's some rumors out there that are pretty well-founded.
I don't remember who reported on all this, the pre-draft Kobe stuff. It was recently. It was only a couple years ago. They reported on the process that led to Kobe and his agent. They basically forced their way to the Lakers. After they did that Lakers workout, and Jerry West told his agent, hey, I want to draft this kid. I'm going to try and find a way to move up. I don't think they really worked out for anyone else after that. And they even went to the point of intimidating John Calipari, who I think the Nets had the 8th or 9th pick. And Calipari wanted to take Kobe, and his agent called him on the phone and said, Kobe will go play in Europe if you select him. His dad went over and played over there. He likes it over there. He'll go play over in Europe. Which obviously was a bluff. Kobe has admitted that I would have went and played in New Jersey. But, they pretty much forced his way to the Lakers.
See, that's kind of like draft. All that draft BS stuff, though, that happens all the time. You always hear about players that, like, once a team tells them that they oh, we're going to try and take you, they stop working out for teams. They start telling others, I don't really want to go here. Like, all that's pretty typical. So I don't know if they really iced out Charlotte, or if Charlotte was just like, okay, well, we can get something out of this.
Yeah, I honestly, there's so much speculation and rumors and links and all that going on, and anytime these links happen, especially in the NBA, it's a lot of self-serving kind of stuff where Charlotte sits back and their leagues are going to say, no, I swear, we were forced into trading one of the best players of his generation, right? And Kobe, yeah, right. Like they're the ones that are leaking. Like, oh, I promise that wasn't our call to make. And then Kobe, having played in LA for 20 years, is going to say, no, it just so happened I wound up here, and I've loved it ever since. I've been a Laker fan my whole life.
He did not say that. He did not say that. Do you remember his tweet?
No.
I do remember this. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he thanked the Hornets for trading him like 18 years ago today or something. Yeah, I remember this. He thanked the Hornets. It was like a year or two ago, right? He thanked the Hornets for trading him to the Lakers.
It was around when he got his Twitter account. It was like, this day I got traded. Let me pull up the tweet itself. Right. I have it in my game thread. So like, he has not been like good soldier about this particular topic. He has very much done the whole I've used this as motivation tactic.
It's funny because that's like what, 3 ownerships ago, 3 or 4.
It's not even the same franchise technically.
Yeah. On this day 18 years ago, the Hornets told me right after they drafted me that they had no use for me and were going to trade me. #thankyou, #Lakers.
Yes, that one. And if you'll notice, former at the Hive editor Ben Swanson immediately replies to that. That's not exactly how it went, with a link to exactly how it went.
Yeah, it's a
Kobe's one for the dramatics.
Yeah, and he's always been one to formulate the narrative around him. He's a master at that.
That's why he wants to go into storytelling after he retires, right?
Yeah, you get to lie.
So there I was.
So
not telling Dwight Howard in the locker room. He was 7'5", 500 pounds of muscle.
Standing over Mike Tony.
I just slugged Mike D'Antoni as he tried to take out my knees.
All right, so back to this game.
I should probably say I actually like Kobe. I really don't dislike him.
He's Kobe. There's literally nothing else you can say about him. In this game, I'm always interested to ask, people from an outside perspective, what they think of the Lakers' young core. Because on one hand, it's impossible to gauge because Byron's such a moron. And then on the other hand, they show flashes of being able to do certain things. Did anybody, in particular, surprise you or impress you tonight, Chris?
Tonight, probably Julius Randle, because he shows a lot of NBA competency and NBA strength for a guy that missed his one entire year as a rookie, and I get that like he probably spent that entire year bulking up and eating NBA diets and working with them. But even so, like he's a really young guy, and he's going out there and battling with Al Jefferson and Marvin Williams and Cody Zeller, like guys that have been around for a while and are not exactly small, and just pushing them around. Like that impressed me. D'Angelo Russell, he did not impress me, but he's been up and down, which is to be expected from him, from a point guard. Clarkson, I liked him a little more last year than I'm so far liking him this year, but I'm still pretty big on him long-term wise. Larry Nance Jr., he's Larry Nance Jr. I see how he could be a serviceable role player. I don't like him or dislike him.
Yeah, he's been really good the last 2 games, though. He only missed 1 shot tonight.
Right, like
his jumper's just been on. I think that's a big part of it, as big of a part of it as anything.
I feel like if you put him in a role like that fits for him, he's fine with it, which is why I kind of like him in that starting lineup with all the veterans, because like he's literally just the guy going out there and cleaning up dunks, which is perfectly fine for him.
Yeah, the big thing lately has been that 16, 17-foot jumper has been going in. Well, not really a jumper, but set shot that everybody's leaving him wide open on. He hit it in college and in Vegas, and up until the last 2 games, he would never make them. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle. There's going to be some regression to the mean. I don't think he's going to shoot whatever 6 of 7% is on the season. Kobe was 5 for 20. You loser.
Clarkson was 2 of 14. Kobe was shooting.
Wait, how many mix did Kemba have?
He scored 38 points on 25 shots.
Yeah, he made 14 baskets.
So he only made 6 shots less than Kobe missed.
Yep.
Wait, no, or
no,
he made 6 shots less than. No, yeah, wait.
No, he made it. He made 1 more shot than Kobe missed.
Bloggers, we're good at writing.
We're good at math. That's why we write for a living.
Advanced analytics, guys. All right. He made 14 shots. Kobe missed 15 shots. Kemba made 1 less shot than Kobe missed on the night. There.
God bless you, Kobe. God bless you.
The biggest thing that I didn't understand about Kobe tonight was he's iced up on the bench. He has his shoulder encased in a giant thing of ice, and everybody's like, oh, Kobe's done for the night. He's icing up. They aren't going to bring him back in. And I thought that was kind of weird because the game was close. And Byron doesn't rest Kobe down the stretch of close games unless the younger guys are blowing things up. And then all of a sudden Kobe's taking the ice off, and he's coming back in. And I think that probably contributed to his poor shooting as much as anything. You can't numb your muscles and then come back in and expect to have them work right away.
Yeah, you saw him when he made that one really deep three-pointer, which, by the way, I cackled at because it was just the most Kobe thing ever when he made
late in the half or when?
Late in the game. He made a 3 late in the game.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was like his last made shot of the game. Like, as he was running down, he was shaking his arm off, and I was like, that's kind of weird. And I almost wonder if he just wanted to step into Byron and said, oh, I want to play. Like, these fans want to see me play, so I'm going to play. Because they were kind of like getting rambunctious for him.
Everybody has. That's how.
Well, they wanted to win the game.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares anymore, to be honest.
No. I meant the fans wanted to be rambunctious because they wanted to win the game.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it's gone all season, though. Anytime Kobe's sitting at any point, you start hearing these Kobe chants. So yeah, I think that's a steady. Opposing teams are, when they're playing away, are just telling, fans, make sure you try to convince Byron to put Kobe back in.
There's going to be some big 30 for 30 on all these teams pumping in crowd noise of Kobe chants. In like 20 years, we're gonna get the documentary on the real documentary on Kobe's whole career, and that's gonna be like a brief little 5-minute segment at the end.
And it won't be 30 for 30. It'll be 0 for 30 named after Kobe shooting.
Woof. That's mean. Oh. That's really mean.
You gotta stop saying this while I'm taking a sip of my drink. Which for iTunes listeners, it's emergency.
I'm just wine. So we got, for the Hornets, the trend has continued this season of if you do daily fantasy, make sure you play, the opposing point guard. Kemba Walker goes off tonight for 38 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds on 14 to 25 shooting. That's how it's gone all season. I think it started with Ricky Rubio going 30 and 10, and it hasn't stopped since.
Yeah, we need to figure out how to average what point guards are scoring against the Lakers. I mean, it wouldn't be hard. We just have to do it.
It's like I heard this stat. This is a different sport, obviously, but I heard the stat that like opposing quarterbacks playing against the New Orleans Saints this year have a quarterback rating of like 116, which is like Hall of Fame numbers. That's what the Lakers are doing. Yeah, that's what the Lakers are doing for opposing point guards. But I did want to talk about Kemba because I could see him being a somewhat polarizing player, just given the way he plays. I think at one point tonight he was leading the Hornets in scoring, and Batum had 3 times more assists. That obviously changed as the game went on. Do you think a team can win with him as the second or third best player, win a title with him as the second or third best player?
That's a really interesting question because
he can't. Not as the best. Like we know that.
Yeah, definitely not as the best. Probably not even as the second. Third is probably the most I would go for, and I think you got to have 2 really good superstars next to him because I really like Kemba. Like I love watching him. He has one of the nastiest handles in the NBA. Despite what everyone says about his defense, he is a smart defender. He knows how to defend, even if he has the physical deficiencies that cause him to struggle on that end at times. But his shooting, until this season, he didn't finish well at the rim. And as far as a jump shooter goes, he has his reputation as a scorer, but he's not a good shooter historically. Like this season's the first time he's only shot over 40% once in his career, and this season he's like well over it, and it's a big surprise. And maybe it'll hold, maybe it won't. I don't know. I've always had a problem with him that I think he shoots a little too much. Like he's a streaky shooter, and I'm fine, and I've accepted that. Like you can shoot a lot, and if your shot's on like it was tonight, then shoot as much as you want. But there are nights where he's going 7 for 23, and it's really frustrating to be like because he's a very solid passer. He can create for others, and he can get into the lanes and create for others. And then you see him shoot 23 times and not make a lot, and it's very frustrating.
He's in his 3rd year right now?
No, 4th or 5th. He got drafted.
Holy.
He was on the, I think he was on the 7-win team.
He was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was the team that got Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. So yeah, he was on the 7-win team.
Would you, if somebody came to you right now and said, all right, you have a choice of having Kemba Walker now in his 5th year and the player he is, and somebody came to you and said, or you could have either or D'Angelo Russell or Jordan Clarkson in whichever year they currently in, Russell being in his first, Clarkson his second, would there be a hesitation? Where would you be thinking? Where would your thinking be there?
With Clarkson, there'd definitely be a hesitation because I think Kemba's better than Clarkson is right now, and I don't know how much better Clarkson's going to get. D'Angelo Russell, I'd take Russell, no hesitation. I think he's going to be that good. I was huge on him in this draft. I thought he was going to be the best player in this draft. So, I wouldn't even hesitate. Now, obviously, it also depends on my current personnel. Like, if I have a team that's trying to make the playoffs or currently trying to contend for the playoffs, like, if I was... if the Hornets, by some chance, had LeBron James and Chris Bosh, I would not be taking D'Angelo Russell. I'd take Kemba Walker just because short-term wise, that makes more sense. But in a vacuum sense of who do I want for a long-term point guard, I would take Russell just because I think he's going to be better than Walker ever will be. And I just spent all that time praising Walker despite my complaints about him, so obviously you can tell that I really like Walker. Just Russell's going to be that good to me.
It makes sense. Harrison, I mean, you obviously aren't as studied up on Kemba as Chris is, but I guess same question. Would you even consider Kemba? So if the Lakers had the opportunity to trade Jordan Clarkson for Kemba Walker and some type of package with those guys as the centerpieces, however the contracts would work out, would you make the deal?
I think I'm with Chris in that Clarkson. I think with Clarkson, I definitely consider it a lot more, just because like he said, I don't know how much better. I probably still wouldn't do it though, just because of the relative age of the team. Kemba's a relatively old 5th-year player, isn't he? He was in college for how many years?
He was there all 4 years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, is it like age-wise? I don't know what your ceiling is if you're with him still as in a major role with like the rest of these guys being so young. And D'Angelo Russell, I definitely wouldn't do it. I still think that he's going to be a lot better than he's showing right now this year. And I think he's still been better than a lot of people are giving him credit for this year.
Right, and it's like you said, it's all a personnel kind of thing as well. Like, because if you have a young team, you're probably going to want Clarkson over Walker just for the possibility of of potential. And I should say that despite all of Walker's success this year, a huge part of that has been the personnel around him. This year, more than anything, he's had is probably the best roster he's ever been on. He has more space than ever to work. Mm-hmm. He has competent players next to him in like Jeremy Lin and Nicolas Batum, and just P.J. Harrison's helped him out a lot. Just a lot of competent wing players that he hasn't had before. Where it's like, okay, I don't have to do everything. I don't have to shoot all the time. I don't have to create for everyone. Like his best years have probably been with Josh McRoberts and now Nicolas Batum, who happens to be the secondary creators that can help him.
Yeah, and I hate to just sit here and trash Kobe the whole night, but how good would Kemba Walker look on this team playing off of Kobe? I don't think nearly
terrible.
As well. Yeah,
he would not be shooting the way he is. It would just be, it'd be Kobe and Kemba shooting all day long. You would hate Kemba. Like, you would absolutely hate him.
Kemba would be Lou Williams, basically. It would turn into,
he'd be
worse. Playing the similar role.
I think he'd be worse.
That's craziness. All right, so the next piece that I wanted to talk to you about, you talk about the great team that the Hornets, or the better team that Kemba has played with this season compared to years past. One such reason is Nicolas Batum, which, he will be a free agent this year, unrestricted. And the Lakers have a gaping hole at the small forward spot. There are a lot of Lakers people on Lakers Twitter begging for the Lakers to take a serious look at him. What are the chances, would you say, Chris, that Batum is on the Hornets next season? And if not the Hornets, could you see him as a Laker?
I mean, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I think you can see any player always as a Laker. They still have that. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of that Lakers mystique, but I really think they can get in the room with anyone, really, just because their name is the Lakers. So, yeah, I could definitely see him on the Lakers. As far as him on the Hornets, honestly, at this point, with how well he's helped them out, like, he's turning the ball over a lot, which is a little frustrating, but he's helping so much as that secondary creator. He's a very solid scorer. And we haven't even gotten to see him next to Michael Kidd-Gilchrist yet, which I really am disappointed by, because him and Kidd-Gilchrist in that same backcourt would just terrorize perimeter threats. Like, just absolutely terrorize them. Like, Batum Batum obviously isn't as good a defender as Kidd-Gilchrist, but he's a solid defender in his own right. So, really, like, he's forcing the Hornets' hand here. Like, they're going to have to pay him a bunch of money, and it's a huge risk, because Batum's on a contract year, he's playing like a contract year, and they're going to really have to make a decision, like, do we take a risk on this guy who has also played a lot of minutes both internationally and really in the NBA. He's been around for a while despite being as young as he is, so they're really going to have to make a decision there that could pay off in the long run or could end up being just a really, really bad signing.
And Jordan's been fairly win now the last couple of years, right? Do you really think that there's any chance that they don't offer him the full max?
They're definitely going to offer him a contract. The max is the big question, because I think they're going to at least approach it, because they've been doing really good. Like, even though they have been win now-ish, they've been really good at getting players on good deals. Like, you saw they got Walker really early on his extension. They got Kidd-Gilchrist early on a steal of an extension. Jefferson's contract isn't bad, and he's coming up, and they're probably going to try to get him for cheap. So they've been getting these guys on a lot of really good contracts. So it's possible that they might be able to avoid getting the max on him, but they're going to probably end up paying him a lot of money either way. And you're right about them going win now, because I mean, they aren't making like contender moves. They're not giving veterans long-term contracts, but they're making a lot of moves to try and make the playoffs and build through free agency and trade, because the draft just didn't work out for them for so many years. And it's like, well, we have to make a step forward.
Harrison, would you max out? Would you if it was your call, would you max out Batum? I think I would.
Yeah,
Especially
I think you have to in this cap environment. Somebody's going to.
If you're the Lakers, you have to.
Right now. Yeah.
If you're the Lakers, you have to. Like, the Lakers got to get a big signing.
I don't think you're getting him for less than that.
Right, and I'm not even sure the only reason I'm not completely sure on the Hornets is because they have a ton of cap room with, like, as Harrison just brought up with the changing environment of free agency with all of the money that's coming in. You're going to have all these players making ridiculous amounts of money. You almost have to give them the max. But the Hornets are getting all that extra money, plus a lot of players are coming off on the books that have been on the books for a while now. So they're going to have money and plus. So I think they're going to be going after people more than Batum and throwing money around like crazy. That's the only reason I'm not entirely sure. Because they might have already given big contracts out to other people and then not be giving the max to Batum because they don't want to. Now, if they're left with just Batum, then I totally see him getting the max.
And the market is not super deep this offseason, so you're going to have a lot of teams that missed out on the Mike Conley, Al Horford, obviously Kevin Durant, LeBron James, I guess technically is a free agent, but he's not leaving Cleveland. So you're going to have a lot of teams with money to throw around and that are just going to be willing to give the max to guys because the cap's going to be so high.
How fun it would be if LeBron left.
That'd be phenomenal. Goes back to Miami. I would. Oh my god!
I've had that scenario in my head for a while. He just goes back to. He sends out a letter. Psych.
Just a fax like Michael Jordan's "I'm back," and people assume it's to Cleveland, and like the next day he has a press conference in Miami.
No, I could see him. I could see him like doing like the Drew or remaking the Drew Carey Cleveland Rocks. You know, the Cleveland Rocks. You know, it just goes back to Miami. That's what I want to see.
Sorry, Cleveland.
Right, this was his ultimate revenge to Dan Gilbert for not putting a better team around him the first time. He went back, got Tristan Thompson paid, got Anderson Varejao an extension, and then pieced.
Oh man, I would love it. Just seeing
poor Cleveland. We're so mean.
All right, so that does it for the topics we were going to cover for this show. We were going to talk about another player who spent time on both franchises, but he's been better than. All right, he's not he who shall not be named. Jeremy Lin has played well this season.
He has. He's been a very good backup point guard and a very good shooting guard next to Kemba, and he plays with someone else, and all of a sudden my brain just died. Usually he's playing next to someone else, but he's been a very good backup point guard and player next to Kemba this year. I've enjoyed him.
Yeah, there's really nothing else that need be said about the guy, and honestly, he had stretches for the Lakers last year where he wasn't, where he was pretty good at, he was never really good, but
he was pretty good at lobbing grenades into the Lakers tank last year down the stretch a couple times.
Yeah, he was not helpful for our tanking efforts. So it is good to see him kind of regain some momentum in his career. Every time he goes to a new city, it's can he regain Linsanity? I don't think that's ever happening ever again. But it is really cool, or it is really good to see somebody who seems like a really nice guy regain some momentum in his career. So he should, that's been fun to watch from afar, and emphasis on watching from afar.
He's a move that I really enjoy watching him do, which is he'll get around his man on the pick and roll, and then he'll make his way towards the center of the paint. He'll take one step forward, get his man to bite, take a step back, and then he'll just pull up and hit the shot every time. It is just my favorite thing he does, and he gets everyone on it.
Mm-hmm. He handles the pick and roll really well. That's why it was so frustrating last year with Byron that they wouldn't run very much pick and roll. But there's Byron. All right. Well, thank you very much.
They ran the triangle. I didn't know that.
They were doing. Honestly, it was more of a rhombus. Like it was running a parallelogram.
A square with Kobe running all over the place.
It was more of a circle, and by circle I mean just Kobe's just in the middle and everybody's just running around, orbiting him. All right,
solar system offense. We started with space stuff, we end on space stuff.
Space is dope.
There you go. Space is dope. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining us tonight. This was a lot of fun. Maybe we'll have to extend this out, to a Lakers lounge kind of environment where we have a little bit more time to talk and get more in depth on these points. But thanks very much for joining us.
No problem. I had fun.
And thank you very much, Harrison, for joining as always. And thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. The Lakers' next game, they should have a day off.
Yeah, they have a day off. They play on Wednesday.
Yep, they have a day off, so we will see you guys again on Wednesday. Keep an eye out for this week's Lakers Lounge guest TBD. We'll find out. I'll talk to everybody soon.
All right, thanks, Anthony.